Hi, thank you for joining 2 Cares with Pets. I'm 2 News Oklahoma's Emma Birch here with Dr. Jessica Zink with South Tulsa Veterinary Hospital. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
And I see we have a very special guest right here. Who is this cute little guy?
This is Ian. Ian is a very sweet boy. He is pretty nervous, but he is part Chihuahua, so that's kind of their bag. That's kind of who they are. But he has been very sweet. He's not a bitey little guy. He's more of a flighty little guy. So, in fact, he was a little late this morning because he apparently escaped and tried to take off. But I think that in most cases, he's actually very sweet and very compliant, and he likes other dogs. He's about a year old.
Awesome. Well, he's just the cutest little thing and quite calm. And I mean, obviously, he's a little nervous, but he's doing great in the spotlight.
Yeah, he is doing well.
Well, obviously, the holidays are here, and a lot of people want to look to adopt pets. A lot of adopting happens in this season. Kind of tell me, what are the biggest concerns and red flags you see when it comes to families who adopt that they might not know before they adopt?
Well, so some of this is the season of adopting new pets. So whether you're adopting from a rescue that has sort of that they keep their animals all together in a large area, whether you're getting from a shelter, and whether this is a kitty, whether this is a dog, kind of some of the most important things to keep in mind is that if they're housed in a large group, it's just like kids in daycare, they tend to carry a lot of communicable diseases. And so if you've got a dog, keep in mind that if you take a dog home from the shelter, there's a pretty large chance they're going to be carrying kennel cough. And so it's not the end of the world. In most cases, that disease is pretty self-limiting, but it does spread like wildfire. So you're going to want to make sure that you keep an eye out for any symptoms of a really dry, hacking cough. In fact, most people describe their pets as sounding like they have something stuck in their throat. And a lot of times they'll call panicking because they're like, I think there's something in their throat. But most of the time it's just because that airway is really irritated because of that collection of either viruses or bacteria. And so under the circumstances, that's very common. It's just like, kind of like a cold. So it's usually pretty minor, but there are some things that we can give them to help ease their symptoms there. If you have a kitty, they've got kind of a collection of upper respiratory illnesses that are very easily transmitted between that group. So if you've got a kitty that's all of a sudden sneezing, or they've got runny eyes, or they've got nasal discharge and a collection of some of those other symptoms, that's something that you're going to want to have addressed because there's a large chance that they have something like herpes virus or something like calicivirus. And some of those things can be treated and the symptoms lessened and the duration shortened. Some of those things cannot. And it's often very important to know the difference between those diseases so you can know what is treatable and what isn't. So those are kind of the important points there, especially if you're bringing home a pet to a house of other pets.
Exactly, and that's kind of my next question. How can families keep their other pets safe from those illnesses when they bring a new pet in from the shelter?
Well, the bad news is that these are respiratory illnesses in most cases, and so it's just like the cold or flu in people. If they're sharing airspace, then you're not going to prevent it. It's more mitigating symptoms, and if you can keep them separated for a certain amount of time and wait for those new animals to show symptoms, then that would be ideal. If that's not really possible, that's okay too. Just understand that your other pets may start to show symptoms at some point, and if that's the case, most veterinarians will be more than happy to examine the pet that is actively symptomatic and then treat any other pets that are in the home that they've already seen for the same symptoms so that they don't have to go into the veterinary hospital and contaminate other spaces. They can just send home some medications, maybe not, depends on how long it's been since their last exam. But keep in mind that we're more than happy to do that in most cases because it's not fun to be going through the holidays with a house full of sick pets.
Absolutely. And for anybody out there who would want to take this sweet little Ian home, especially maybe open him up for Christmas, how can they get in contact with him?
So this little guy is available through Memphis Street Animal Rescue. They have a website. They have a thrift store. But they have a lot of wonderful pets that are available for adoption. But Ian is ready. He's ready for his forever home, and somebody needs to come snatch him up.
Absolutely. What a great way to open up Christmas morning. That cutie little dog. I mean, well, thank you so much, Dr. Zink, for your time, and we will see you guys next time.